IVM.
Gandhi is the father of the nation, which generally means that one pays attention to what he says. So let's head off to his weekly paper, Young India. The year is 1929 and Gandhi receives a question from a reader about gay love. Well, it wasn't called gay love in colonial India. It was called unnatural vice, which is really laughable. Which vice is natural? Welcome to the show, the longest constitution. We are looking at, in this season, at sex, marriage laws, divorce laws, and how religious personal laws reinforce inequalities between men and women, and that generally women get the rougher deal. In today's episode, we are talking about challenging even the assumptions about marriage. Who says it should be a man and a woman? We are talking today about the right of same-sex people to marry. The right to marry, an act which is both public and deeply private and so human. What's kind of implicit in our marriage laws is the idea that it is a holy union between a man and a woman. And our laws kind of assume that. Shadi to ladka aur ladki ka hi hoga na. Galat janab, galat. But let's get back to the person who asked Gandhi a question. This reader asked if unnatural sex is bad. So natural sex, that's okay, but unnatural sex, whoa. Now you'll remember that this whole fixation with unnatural sex led to the drafting of Section 377 of the IPC. So it's unnatural to have anal sex, but it's totally natural to make rules like women cannot inherit property, or that it's okay if a husband rapes his wife. I mean, what is natural anyway? Is a condom natural or hair dye for that matter? But I'm wavering. Let's get back to Gandhi. And this is one of the many reasons why I salute the man. He wrote, and let me quote, "We need not hug the comfort to ourselves that we are not like other men." Let's decode that. Gandhi said that there is no difference between heterosexual and homosexual lust. And heteros, there is no need to feel all superior and better because your love is the same as gay love. Lust is lust. So said the father of our nation. Not only that, he was a great exponent of experiments with truth, of course, but with sexuality and celibacy. Our sexual compasses can shift, and Gandhi did that himself. He was so fluid in his public engagement with sex. And he found the obsession with producing children insane. He went to the extent of blessing many newlyweds with, "May you not have children." Wow, that's radical, man. And that's Swarajya, self-determination. Anyway, so the father of our nation upholds homosexuality, but look at these self-appointed Babas. Baba Ramdev, who says he can cure gay people. Or what? Is homosexuality a disease? Of course not. Yogi Adityanath says the disease of men having sex with men is unnatural and not good for India. I would like to invite both these men to my classroom and cure them of their collective ignorance. And we will start by reading the Bhagavad Puran, the Brahmand Puran, and the Shiv Puran. And all of them narrate the story of how Shiva had sex, not with Parvati, which he did, of course, but with Vishnu, in the form which he takes as this really sexy woman, Mohini. And what's really important is that in a few versions, Shiva asks Vishnu to take the form of Mohini, which meant he was fully aware of what was going on. Of course, it's Shiva. So Shiva had sex with Vishnu. And this idea of changing forms, bodies, desires is so fundamental to living a private, autonomous life. But we are drifting. Why bother with mythology? We need to hear people's voices now and today. And remember how our constitution recognizes our own private Swaraj. Our Swaraj is in Article 15, which prohibits discrimination on grounds such as religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth, which does not mention sexual orientation, but at the same time is a recognized basis of discrimination, being judged by people who think they are superior. This is what is called horizontal discrimination. When we are free to do what we like, but the people around us don't let us make those choices. Like Sultana Mirza, who lived with her same-sex partner in UP. Two women, adults, living their lives, being themselves. What's the problem? The problem? Her family and their relatives who harassed this couple. That's the problem. And that's what Article 15 is supposed to do. That it protects you from the discrimination, not just from the state, but people around you. In 1987, two police women, Leela and Urmila, married each other in Madhya Pradesh. And I don't think their love lives affected their jobs, but they were suspended. Why, bhaiya? It should be the opposite. Protection against the majoritarian opinion is the primary duty of the state to secure Swaraj for all its citizens. And Swaraj is not just the great freedom struggle we studied about in school. Yeah, that was great, that was important. But equally great are our own personal, private struggles for dignity and a life worth living. And just the freedom to do our own thing. The right to marry the person of your choice is one such fundamental right. So what's the solution? In Sultana Mirza versus State of UP 2020, the court recognized this, that it is our duty to reflect upon constitutional morality to progress to greater freedoms, not less. And that in a plural society, it is everyone's liberty to choose their partners, not just the heterosexual majority. And that's what makes the Navtej Johar judgment, which decriminalized homosexuality, so important. The judgment questioned marriage as being one man, one woman under Articles 14, 15, 19 and 21 of the Constitution. And it recognized that our Swaraj means more than just the nation's freedom. It means every individual's freedom. Well, last year, two separate pleas were filed by two same-sex couples who sought that the Special Marriage Act and the Foreign Marriage Act should be expanded to include marriages of same-sex couples. But the government said no, that marriage has sanctity and depends upon age-old customs, rituals, practices, cultural ethos, and societal values. Oh, right. You mean those customs where a kanya is given in daan, where one can demand dowry, deny women's rights, and where you have to marry within your own caste? Ooh, those customs have to be upheld. Anyway, so what is the status of same-sex marriage in India? Is same-sex marriage illegal? And the answer is no. Incidentally, both the Special Marriage Act and the Hindu Marriage Act use the expansive language of any two persons when describing who can marry. So there is a way out. Yay! All it requires is a simple amendment, and voila, we are there. The other question which pops up is, why marry at all? One doesn't realize it when one is shopping for makeup and planning one's honeymoon, but essentially marriage is also a right. A right to each other, to a home, to maintenance. So the demand that the LGBTQIA community have a right to marry can be countered by, oh, why do you want to marry her? You want to be different and traditional at the same time? Sorry, that's my inner auntie. She's there. I know. I can feel her. And the answer to Auntie G is the Provident Fund Scheme, 1952. The Payment of Gratuity Act, 1972. The Employment Provident Fund Scheme, 1952. Workmen's Compensation Act, 1923. Whoa, what am I talking about? Yes, these acts define family in such a way that a lesbian or gay couple would not benefit from them. And apart from that, the public expression of love needs to be seen as the individual right. To rent a house, to adopt children, to a family, to live the life others seem to have no problem in living. The sheer joy of celebrating in public one's love and marriage has to be granted. In the next episode, we will see how gender itself has come such a long way and how the struggle to recognize the third gender has not been an easy one. Did you enjoy this show? Chalo share karo with your friends, lovers and family. For now, this is me, Priya Mirza, signing out.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun explores brand experiences in a post-pandemic world. He's joined by Arun Srinivas and Shravat Aluru. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth reviews the YouTube Shorts funds and details its strengths and challenges. On Marathi Kirtitun, Dr. Rajiv and Manik Deshmukh reminisce about the close relationship between bicycles and childhood. On Say No to Drama, Chetna decodes the drama around the expectations and their resultant disappointment. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Flay Coffee, Intel, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Namaste, this is Cyrus Brocha. I am part of the government cancel culture program to remove rubbish off all the different streams available. So what we have is all the collected rubbish we put together on our show. It's called Cyrus Says. It's on IVM Podcast. You have to watch it and listen to it. It's on our app. It's on our website. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. There are many different ways. Don't bother me and ask me how. You have to find out. We talk to different personalities. Many of them are known. Some are just people we meet downstairs and invite them up for chai. But the point is, it's fun and it's very therapeutic. So please join in and listen to Cyrus Says.